Okay, hello. Was that loud? That sounded loud.
It was a little
Slightly. It was passionate.
I'll try not to yell anymore. We are back officially. Lodge Pod back. It's been a fun summer, I think, for most of us. Doing a lot of different things. Post grad life is something new, but we got the go ahead to run it back. And I think I don't think this is just gonna be like a few month thing like the last time. I think we keep this going. We're doing this for fun. I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'd like to get viewership and stuff, but why
Catch up
not
with the fellas,
yeah, I mean, we don't really. I don't
It's our
know.
social
We're
interaction.
not living together anymore, so
Right.
It's a good excuse at the end of the day to see the boys.
well, it's that and just like sit down, chop it up, talk ball, drop knowledge.
Yep.
I don't know. I
Little
consider us
knowledge
to
we
be
have.
above average football or whatever you may have it intellects.
Yeah, we can talk ball. I think
We're
we
definitely not like, I don't know.
not ball knowers.
Yeah. I mean, I've spent some time this summer around some ball knowers, and like sometimes I do feel stupid. But I think for the most part, I have a very good understanding of most going ons in the ball world.
Yeah, I'd agree. I
So-
dabble in those things.
Yeah. So, Era, do you want you hit us? You hit us with a question earlier.
Yeah.
And I want to get into that. So let's start with that.
So sure, it's been circulating a little over Twitter. Mr. Knowles 123 or 123 Knowles. You're just
That's his
finishing
Twitter
this up.
account.
Yeah. He made a bet last week on Twitter that he would eat dog shit from a Red Solo Cup if the Knowles lost to Boston College. So flash forward, it's 11:04 p.m. on Labor Day. The Knowles lost to Boston College. So
It's 2 losses, 1 cup.
might
That's
be.
a good clip right there. That took me a second.
So my question to you guys is, what would you consume if it meant your team would win a game?
So to guarantee a win, but you said this is just a regular game. Like this
I
isn't.
mean, the stakes for this guy was Florida State, Boston College, week 2.
Yeah,
So yes.
Early desperation.
but he's okay. So here's the caveat, though: is he's doing it if they lose.
And they lost.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, if you could guarantee a win, like, what are you eating? What are you consuming?
Well, it's tough because like a regular season game, I don't think I'm going that hard for. But if you were to tell me, like,
You mean your Seminoles?
don't say mine. Don't put a possessive noun before that, or what have you. I don't know.
You
I don't know
can't
what
keep
form of
going back and
literature that
forth.
is.
You claim it's your team, and now like
It was his team. It was.
No, I know. I just said I think I want to be a Florida State fan, and the world has come crumbling upon me ever since I said that.
we'll find the receipts. We'll find the receipts.
Sean
I
Mahoney.
never won. I don't think I
FSU.
ever did. I ever use the words "my Knowles."
I mean, if you want to be a fan of the Knowles, they'd make them your Knowles.
I don't know. Anyway, we're off track. We're already off track.
But you're the one that's just
Back to
trying
the
to
question,
closet a
what would I
Florida State
eat?
fan.
So is this now? Am I speaking from a Florida State point of view, or am I speaking from like an Eagles point of view?
One of your teams. What would you consume?
For a regular season game, I need to sit on this for a second. Does anybody else have an answer lined up?
Well,
Jack, I feel like. Oh, and you have something?
I'm thinking like I feel like, first of all, is this mic good? Is this volume?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I feel like it's the parameters is like you've got to do something like outside your comfort zone somewhat. So like I'm thinking like regular season game, low stakes. Like I would rip a diet of just like Long Johns for a day. And that's it. like just strictly Long Johns to like guarantee my team winning. Get a little uncomfortable, make people uncomfortable around me, prove a point that like I'm still in this game. I've got skin in it. I want to see this win. I think I'm going with like just Long Johns for a day. That's going to be my answer. I think I'll really prove a point with it as well.
So you're not going vile.
No, not vile, just like slightly uncomfortable. Like everybody around me that's watching me do this is going to be like really thrown off and be like, what is this dude doing?
Because
And
like
why-
when I thought of this, like my basement initially was like dog food.
Yes. But then I think that's too aggressive though.
Is
Like I
that
think it's
for a
like,
regular season game?
for a regular season game, I think that's too aggressive. I think you
'Cause
just
to
want
kind of break the mold of this, like Super Bowl, I would probably
yeah.
pull a what was the guy's name? Noel.
Knowles 1, 2, 3.
I'd probably eat the dog shit
Fair.
for a Super Bowl.
Fair. But this is just
You
a
guys don't
normal
want to know what I'm
game.
thinking.
You're going worse. Let's hear it then.
Immediately, my mind jumped to like the hottest chip ever. I was like, I'll go through the pain for win. But like, I think I might
That's
take a
not
step
dog
back.
shit.
I might take a step back, pull a little Mac Hollins, just bare hands, just take a nice chunk of raw meat, like raw beef.
Liver King
Take
style.
food poisoning for a day or two. For the win, I can do it.
What about raw
One-
chicken?
Ooh.
I still follow the guy on Instagram who ate raw chicken every day for 100 some odd days, and he's been MIA for a little while.
Okay, so but there's video of him surviving multiple days. So
There's a video of him surviving. He has not been heard of since I think July.
okay, but if he can do it for multiple days, I should be fine for one.
He did it for months.
Oh yeah, then I'll do chicken.
So you would eat a raw chicken for one win? One
Yes.
like regular.
I might be a little crazy, but
That's crazy. That's
I
crazy.
love my birds. I'd do anything.
Yeah, regular season win, I might do the raw chicken.
I feel like for me it's pretty easy. Like I got a lot of food allergies. You just pick one from the shelf. And just be like EpiPen right to the thigh right after.
Are you
it.
a peanut butter allergy guy?
I am.
So you'd eat a peanut butter sandwich?
Probably not a whole sandwich. I feel like that might be pushing it. I'd take a bite. Maybe take a bite. Like
you
if
gotta
it-
go with something good.
I don't think
though,
that
like
works. I think you have
Chick-fil-A or
to-
Five Guys.
I
Like,
think
you
whatever
gotta
it is
do
that you're
it at
eating, you have to
once.
go all in. You have to finish it.
I mean, that's life or death though. If you're eating dog food, I think if I was gonna do it and not cause death to myself, I'd say I would eat like puke. I feel like would be like something you'd be like,
Puke?
yeah,
Ugh.
Like-
Puke or dog shit?
puke. If it was
For
mine,
one
if
game?
it was mine, dude, like Kyle
Your
Field,
puke?
yes, my puke.
I don't know if that's allowed.
Who are you to make the rules? It's my question.
I'm simply setting
The
parameters here that I
administrator.
feel are fair.
As you say, I would eat dog food. Like, yeah, I'd go get some cat litter, bro. Like, ooh.
Yeah, at least I'm eating it and it's not like out of mind. You can't just eat a meal that you ate earlier over again.
Yeah, I don't think it would
Like I
taste
said,
the
like
same,
I said, I don't know how you're gonna sit here and just put these parameters on these things.
I mean, there has to be rules here somewhere.
There are no rules. This is the Lodge Pod.
Lodge Pod After Dark today
Okay, so
Yeah.
what would you then eat for a Super Bowl?
for a Super Bowl.
Because I'm saying I would go all the way and eat a pile of dog shit.
If you put anything in front of me, I'd eat it.
Could I
I'm
season it?
yeah,
Anything.
yeah.
Can you?
You-
Yeah,
I-
you can season it.
Probably
See,
eat a human.
Owen is asking for rules because he knows I'm the rule guy.
That's what I'm saying. I gotta like make sure I gotta have a full picture of what I can do. Like if I can put some like paprika and like salt and pepper, I'm with you on that, Sean. I think I would be willing to go there.
I think I'm up there too. I think that or dude. If you gotta go cannibal for a natty or a
You need a
Super Bowl,
person?
like I might just go over to the island for a little bit.
You
you
need
know?
All right,
human
that's
being.
wild. No, that's wild. That's
I probably would too, though. I probably would too.
Come on, I'm not saying like I'm not eating the entire person. Like if someone to like cook me something and be like, hey, like this would may be human.
You
I'd
would
be
eat
like,
a paraplegic's leg.
No.
Hey, there's no meat on that.
What do they need it for?
right up. Right off the
That point,
bone.
you'd rather eat their
Right
leg
off
than
the
somebody who
bone.
has a functioning working leg is a bipedal person.
But yeah, I feel like a good line is manure of some sort.
Yeah.
Again, though, I do feel like that's kind of the basement for that. I think you could get crazier, but that's what
definitely
I'm
could.
gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna go and say I'm gonna turn into a cannibal or be.
If
I
it was
feel
like I feel like a Lions fan, like Lions fans would eat a person today if it meant the Lions were going to win the Super Bowl this year,
Them and like Bills fans probably would.
or the Browns.
I think if you held this survey, you would find that most fan bases would probably eat the flesh of another human
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
win.
probably.
I was just gonna say, like, any person that cares about their team at all is probably willing to eat dog shit for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like look at Shane Gillis. He was like what, like a year ago when he was on a podcast, and they asked him like what would it do for Notre Dame to win, like what would it mean for Notre Dame to win a national title? He's like every Philadelphia sports franchise could die in a plane crash if that meant that Notre Dame could win a national championship for him.
Yeah, that was crazy to me. But I guess like I'm not in that college football mindset where
Yeah.
it just seems like for people who are big into college football, and you're really the only one on this show that is, I feel like a national title trumps
Means a lot.
everything to you.
Well, especially now that I saw the Bucks win the Super Bowl, it's like
You've seen, yeah.
I obviously I want to see it again, but like Notre Dame hasn't won since '88. Like,
Yeah. And it might be a while.
It might.
nope. This year, man.
I don't like
12-0.
this team this year.
After what, one game?
Yeah,
They went
Connor
to a-
Wegman might be the only quarterback in the country worse than DJU.
Dude. I will say this though, like going into that game, like yes, Wegman did play horrible, but Notre Dame's defense also made the number 1 overall draft pick look like a pedestrian a year ago. So, I mean, like I feel like it's kind of unfair to come at him sideways because Notre Dame is probably a top 3 defense this year in college football.
Okay. That's fair. Well, I think that is a good segue now. We're getting into it. We have a good amount of college football games to cover right now. So for time's sake, since we just spent however long, like 10 minutes talking about eating dog shit and things of that nature, let's go
Give us the good
into
ones.
the first game I have on this sheet is NDSU versus Colorado. I feel like we can I want to get into it a little bit, but like I feel like a lot of the things that we're going to say are just going to be the same knocks that Colorado's had for the past 2 years now. So like I wrote down, it's the same Colorado team from last year. It's Shador and Travis Hunter being the stars. It's egos flying around like crazy, and that starts at the top with Deion Sanders, who I don't think is that bad of a coach, but I don't think that the culture that he's fostering in Colorado is really what you need to be a successful college football team or program, I should say. And yeah, the offensive line sucks. Their defense is soft. I mean, North Dakota State, obviously a top tier FCS football program, but they just bullied them in that game. And Colorado kind of snuck out of there with a win, it felt like. I mean, what was the first halftime of possession was ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Colorado was not playing well in the first place. They were getting outpossessed, but it all comes down like Colorado can't run the ball. They just cycle these transfers in and think that something is going to change. It doesn't. Like,
And they look small on the field. Like their lines on either side, they just look like kind of children playing a man's game. Once again, even against an FCS team, a good FCS team, but still an FCS team.
yeah. But I also think that kind of spans to like Deion's philosophies. Like, so in the 2024 recruiting class rankings, Colorado finished number 95 in bringing in high school recruits. You want to know how many he brought in?
8.
You guys?
How many?
4.
It is 4. He brought in
Dang.
4. 1 5-star
Yes, you
and
looked that up.
3 4-stars per 24/7 Sports. It's like, what's your goal? Like, if you're not going to develop players, like, college football, like the transfer portal is a thing where you can cycle guys in and out, but like your culture is through developing players at the end of the day.
So he's the opposite of Dabo Sweeney. He's the antichrist
Yes.
to Dabo Sweeney, you could say.
Yes,
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
literally.
No, it's not a good way to build a college football program, and it kind of makes you think, like from the outside looking in, that he sees this as a very short term place for him. And I feel like
Yeah.
he's probably just there while his sons are there. And I think one of the I don't know if it was Mike Greenberg or somebody named Mike at ESPN mentioned the other day, like that he sees the Cowboys as a landing place for Dion and Shador.
It's
And
just
that's
really
actually
cool.
I've had like I have a friend who said that he's been hot on that theory for months now.
Let
And
me
I
just
don't
say
think it's
this.
the craziest thing.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Let me
Yeah.
just say this. I don't think Shador Sanders is it, like, at all. I don't know. Like, I just don't think he can get the job done. Like, I don't know if it's because also, like, he has no hope in the run game whatsoever, and his offensive line's terrible, but, like, he's kind of like Kirk Cousins when Kirk Cousins just had tunnel vision to Travis Hunter. Like, he knows, like, that's the only guy he can get the ball to who's going to actually do, like, a real play. Like, I don't think he has, like, any chance of being, like, a good NFL quarterback, like a long-term starting quarterback.
And two, like to add on that, like everything Colorado does, whether it's like Jimmy Horn is getting the ball or someone else, everything is not like a timing. No, there's no like real play that develops because everything shit hits the fan like as soon as the ball is snapped.
And Shador, like, I will say, Jack, I disagree that there's no chance he can be good. I do think there's a chance that he can be good, and I think he is like a good college quarterback right now. But I do think it once again boils down to the talent around him on that team. But I like what you said about the tunnel vision, and I like what Ara said about shit hitting the fan with these plays, because it seems like he's bailing very early on pockets because he has no faith in his line, and then it's just, okay, where's Travis?
Like
Or do I have an avenue to make a play with my legs?
the thing too that was like the most telling was at the end of that game, like you're playing in it. Like North Dakota State is a fantastic FCS program, but at the end of the day, they're an FCS program. When your goal is to run the ball out, they had the ball with like 2.5 minutes to go, and they're running swing passes like to get to the edge. Like, yeah, I get it. Like you have athletes out there, but like you got to be able to run the ball to win the game. Like
Yeah.
Their first play when they got the ball back with like 2 minutes left was they ran the ball, forced North Dakota to take a timeout, and then a second down, I'm pretty sure
took
it
a
was,
shot. Yeah.
took a shot. It's
Yeah.
like, are you paying attention to the lines? Do you know that you're a 10-point favorite? Are you trying to cover right now? What is that? You
Probably.
save them a timeout, and then they get the ball back, and they don't.
They
But
caught a Hail Mary at like the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, you were dangerously close to losing that game.
Yeah, if that
And
guy
then
ran up
FCS
to the
came
line
out
of
with-
scrimmage and threw the ball, that's a touchdown.
Yeah,
also, there were some plays though at the end where like you could tell the officials kind of like there was one play where they were still spotting the ball and they started running the clock with like 10 seconds left, and you could tell there was some homers. They were lucky to be in Boulder for that one.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother topic that I don't necessarily want to get into right now for time's sake. But officiating across the board was pretty bad on Saturday.
Yep, I agree with that.
I think. Does anybody else have anything on that game, North Dakota, Colorado?
Yeah. Speaking of teams that get make no room for real officiating issues, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Just holy schmoly, dude.
Yeah, I mean, going into that game, I feel like you saw it as like, okay, Georgia's going to win, but kind of how does Clemson look? Because even still, like, Clemson got their asses handed to them, but you can't take that as like, oh, Clemson can be a competitive team in the ACC, or they can't be volleying for a playoff spot. It's just Georgia is that much better. I think the only team that really can get on their level, at least right now, is probably Ohio State, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't look at that game and be like Clemson is a bad team. I just think Georgia is a
That much
machine
better.
right now. I think Carson Beck is a phenomenal player and probably going to be a top 5 pick in the draft. Their defense is still ridiculous and has been for past half decade. One guy though that I don't like for Clemson, and he plays the most important position on the field. I don't think Cade Klubnik is that guy.
No. He's so timid when he has the ball. He reminds me exactly of Drew Aller, but less skilled.
Yeah, he looks scared to make plays. And I don't know if that was – I mean, he had a full season under his belt from last year. You would think he'd come out in week 1 and at least play like he had some experience. But like you said, he looked very timid out there. He looked like he didn't look comfortable making his reads. He didn't look comfortable making some tough throws. Yeah, and I mean that Clemson is a talented defense, and they kept them in that game through
For
the
like
first
25 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, but eventually, I mean, the wheels are going to fall off if your offense. Like, not only were they not putting points on the board, they just weren't sustaining drives.
Yeah.
I don't know the full stat, but like, I don't even know how many plays they ran in Georgia territory. Oh, and what were you going to say? I cut you off.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I felt like they never gave themselves like any opportunity to score early on in that football game. Like it was, you just kind of felt like I watched the first half, and at the end of the halftime, or at the end of the half, it was what, 6-0. And you already knew. So you're like, it's just a matter of time. Like you said, like this is going to happen. It's just going to be a matter of time when it happens, and then how fast that ball rolls down the hill. Like you said, the last 2 quarters, it's just, you knew it was coming all day long. I think Carson Beck, like you said, Mahoney, I think he is going to be probably a top 1 or 2 quarterback this season when it's all said and done in college football. And I feel like another guy that we just like gloss over as a coach, and while we praise people like Dion who hasn't done anything, is like Kirby Smart. This dude is just like a winner all the way. He has an eye for talent, like probably nobody that we've seen outside of maybe like Saban in this modern day era. And like you said, I think he's building Georgia to a point right now where it's like they're gonna take the placeholder of what Alabama's left in their wake.
If he didn't tuck his tail between his legs in that SEC championship last year, we're probably talking about Georgia coming in here and four-peating this season.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Klubnik like taking over the spot from DJ at Clemson, because I feel like it's one of those situations where like DJ was, and we'll talk about him later, playing very poorly at Clemson. That when they see Klubnik in practice in the offseason, they're just like, oh, he's so much better. He's going to be so good. It's just like Klubnik was playing average, and it just looked so much better because of how bad DJ was playing when he was at Clemson.
Yeah.
And then also, Dabo just is killing the team with the transfer portal and not taking anybody. Like,
Yeah.
he's the only team in D1 to not have a single transfer since the portal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. The only teams that have never taken a transfer are Navy, Army, Air Force, and Clemson.
yeah, without like not including
Yeah.
the
It's also like, how many opportunities do any of those military schools have to actually bring in a transfer?
None. Literally
Yeah,
none.
you can't.
Hey, you want to come play for us and then have to do 5 years of service, and we're not going to give you NIL money because
Yeah.
by the government?
Yeah, dude.
We'll
And it's
give
just
you a
like
slap on the back.
crazy. Like Dabo, like I think he's a good coach because like you saw what he did. He's what he did previously. Like, but it's just a different time of college football, and you can't be stuck in your ways. Like I said, like you can't build. Like I think the way the transfer portal kind of like balances, it's like either you're gonna fill needs, you're gonna get the best players in the portal, or you're gonna just try. I feel like the other alternative is like you go all in on the portal and get everybody that wants to come to your school, and then you end up just kind of rinsing and repeating.
He's refusing to evolve with the game, and maybe it's that because he doesn't believe in evolution because of his religious beliefs. I don't know, but yeah, it's clearly Clemson's taking a hit on it. They started last year with a loss to Duke, correct? That was their first game.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's like nowadays having a flip phone. Like, what is that going to do for you? Like, you're so far behind the trend.
Yeah, it literally would be like if you like once they started running the spread and the air raid in college, like when Chip Kelly was at Oregon, It'd be like if you were gonna just go out there and run the I formation, run the power I. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, you the revolutionary throwing the forward pass, and you
Yeah,
just refuse to do
right.
it.
Yeah, literally, that's what he's doing.
I
It's
think
crazy.
a lot of it does fall onto Cade's shoulders, though, because I think the expectation was that he would take a step and he would develop, having another off season there in Clemson. But I don't know. I don't see it.
But I
And
just
again,
think like also in recruiting, like they've started to stalemate. Like they're not like they bring in good players, like they bring in some good classes, but like they're not bringing in like dudes. Like they're not bringing a guy that's going to go win 1-on-1 on the outside.
yeah, their receivers didn't look good either to
No.
kind of throw Cade a little bit of a bone. But I don't have anything else on that. I'm ready to move on to the next game if you guys are.
To someone that is just instead of just being bad on offense, just be bad all the way around. Just be the University of Florida.
Yeah,
Because
Billy Napier.
they are awful.
Yeah,
Awful.
They're so bad.
and it even started with Miami stealing their whiteout game.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even all-time power move by Miami, first of all. But if you can't even get your student section to be wearing the proper color because the other team is just like, no, eat shit. We're gonna take this over now. I think Cam Ward is very, very good. He's a lot.
I think Miami is in a good spot in the ACC, but like I don't know how much stock I want to put into it because like I really think there's a chance that Florida goes 1-11.
You think they could be that bad?
Dude, their schedule is so hard.
The schedule's tough.
So Samford is who they play next week. Like that's a game that you win, but like they played like I don't remember if it was Drake or it might have been Samford actually again last year, and they only won by like 20. It was like 52-38 or something like that. Then they play A&M, who like you still. I mean A&M.
They're a good team. As much as I was shitting
Yeah.
on Connor Wegman,
Yeah.
and they're down the list.
They are much better than Florida. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
At Mississippi State, which like you never know. UCF, you never know. At Tennessee, Nico looks amazing.
yeah.
In Kentucky, they're probably going to lose to Kentucky. Georgia, at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss. Never mind. Florida State and Florida might be actually the worst in-state rivalry football game we're going to see this
Gonna be a
entire
snooze fest.
year.
That game's gonna suck.
That one is going to be a toss-up.
But yeah, I mean, their last 4 or 5 games are against preseason top 15 teams.
Yeah.
And obviously, we'll get to Florida State. They're clearly not a top 15 team. They're probably not a top 25 team. But,
No.
I mean, look, not to say that they needed to win this game against Miami to kind of have, a little bit to build on. But, like, they could have at least
You got to keep it
put up a
close at
fight.
home.
Yeah. At home, season opener.
In the
There's some
swamp.
hype around Graham Mertz. Like,
And like Billy's coaching for his job.
is he, though? Like,
Yes.
no, not in the sense that like obviously he's going to lose his job this season. It's just a matter of like when they decide to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you were to tell me that I could go be really bad at my job for a full year and then kick my feet back and make $26 million not doing anything, probably take that.
We'd call you a college football coach.
Yeah.
My thing
100%.
though with Billy is like they've recruited well, but it's like how much of that is Billy versus how much of it is the University of Florida is going to pay top dollar.
Okay, but did anybody think Graham Mertz was actually going to do anything?
I mean, he
Nope.
didn't play bad last year.
There always hype around him.
It's just UF is they're in a bad spot.
They're
Like,
not a good team.
They
don't
have
a good
talent.
coach.
They remind me of Texas A&M like a
Mm.
couple of years ago. Like I know Mike Elko is the guy for A&M.
Yeah. And they forced who the hell did they force out the door? Florida before
Dan
Napier.
Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen, yeah. I was blanking on his name so
he
hard.
coached.
right
He coached well for him. Like they were never bad.
there. Yeah. It's a storied college football program, dominated the late 2010s, back-to-back titles, but
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
that
They're in dire straits. I saw they brought Tebow to the game too. I'm like, come on, man. Like
they're clinging on to it.
Yeah, those days are over.
Yeah.
You guys are atrocious.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cam Ward, like I said, it has potential to be in New York at the end of the season.
Yeah,
For
He-
sure.
Florida man. So go ahead, Mahoney.
No, you go
I
first.
was gonna say I just read a Florida man tweet. He posed Florida State and Florida is gonna be on Tubi at this point.
Sling TV.
Yeah.
It might be on the CW.
They should. If you want to watch
Tom
that game,
Brennan's
you
gonna
should have to pay
announce
for
that
it.
game.
You should. Yeah, I agree.
Oh
Yeah, it's
man.
bad. Bad stuff.
Yikes.
But he
But-
does the I think kind of the last note that I want to have on this game is like as much as I'm kind of glazing Cam Ward right now, he also makes some pretty boneheaded decisions. Like that interception he had was an incredibly difficult throw to make. He thought he was Patrick Mahomes. And you don't want your guy putting you in positions like that, especially against a bad team like Florida, because once you start, down the line, like Miami's going to be playing for the ACC.
Yeah.
It's plays like that that can be the difference between being a playoff team and not. So,
Because I think the ACC will only be getting one team this year.
yeah, I agree. It'll
It'll be the conference championship winner. Yeah.
It's going to be the winner of
Miami and
Clemson
Clemson.
at the end of the year. Yeah.
No Virginia Tech.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, they had a lot of hype and they laid an egg.
They fell flat on their face.
Yeah. But I don't really
Jared,
wanna
you want to kind of open us up for
the
the
biggest
primetime
game
game
of the
Saturday?
weekend.
yeah.
Dude, that was an insane environment. It was just a different game. Like it was a slugfest. Like I would never that's probably like the first time I've seen Notre Dame win a game like that on the road in my lifetime. But so I mean, other than like Oklahoma in like 2012, like underdogs on the road, and the defense just took over. Like they had took so many penalties. We had like 100 yards of penalties, and like true freshman at left tackle, true sophomore or redshirt sophomore or freshman at left guard. Like the offensive line had 6 combined total starts, and they went in there and played like it wasn't the best game by any means from the offense, but like Riley Leonard had an injury during the spring. He didn't he's been learning the offense and like being able to go bullets for a month. So I'm like, this is the worst the offense is going to look in like the way that they grew up in the second half. It was awesome. It was like I said, but only seeing them like do that like this twice in my life, it added it to it.
Yeah, that was I have this down in the notes. That's the biggest road win of the Marcus Freeman era. Would you, as a Notre Dame fan, argue it's the biggest win?
Probably since like Oklahoma 2012. No,
Yeah.
Clemson during COVID was probably the biggest win. When everyone thought DJ was actually going to be good.
Yeah, we can keep like alluding to him. I'm gonna kind of fire off on him once we get towards the end of this list.
Yeah, but like I think it's up there, and it was like they showed that finish that they didn't last year against Ohio State. Riley Leonard's a gamer. The defense is elite. Like
Yeah, they had 11 players on the defense for the entire game. It looked like, yeah.
they did, and it sure played well, dude. They're like the defense just looked so good.
Yeah, they did.
They looked
I
so
thought-
good.
I was watching that game and like trying to think about it from your perspective, Era. I was like, this is like one of those football games that is so gratifying as a fan to watch your team win. Like nobody
Yeah.
on the outside is going to enjoy it because it was like boring and like blah, blah, blah. But like as a fan of that team, as I was watching, I was like, yeah, this dude's got a smile like ear to ear right now.
Oh,
I
for
thought-
sure.
I thought Riley Leonard played like better than what people gave him credit for too. Like you could tell he had a heavy emphasis on like not making that one mistake too.
Yeah.
Like, that one bad throw, that one fumble, whatever it is. You could tell there was heavy pressure on him to not make that mistake. So I thought, all things being said, I thought he deserved more credit than what he got. But ultimately the defense deserve the lion's share of that because they're ridiculous and they deserve, like you said, they'll be a top 3 defense all year. It would shock me if they're not.
I mean, just looking way down farther road for the college football playoffs, if we're going to talk about it, like ACC is probably going to be, school is probably going to be number 4. Notre Dame, if they run the table, is probably going to be number 5. They have
Yeah.
a pretty good shot of making it far. So,
Yeah, you get them or like a Big 12.
yeah.
Yeah, I
like-
mean, if they get that 5 too, and they play whoever sneaks in there at
Like
that 12 spot,
UNLV,
yeah,
USF,
Liberty.
yeah,
USF.
Liberty is the hot pick to be that G5 rep.
They actually play nobody on their schedule.
Yeah.
So
They're gonna walk in there into the college football
Get
playoff. And
smacked.
it's gonna
But-
look like they're not even playing the same
It's
sport.
going to be the TCU game, the
Yeah.
Natty.
But dude,
Yeah.
it's like because they got whooped up by Oregon last year too. But like, yeah, dude, just like seeing, like Riley Leonard was a gamer. Like
Yeah.
you said, like true freshman, left tackle. Because Jagasaw, who was supposed to play, he tore his pec like 2 weeks before the game, out for the season. And like you're thrusting a true freshman right there. Like
And
Marcus
back
Freeman let him hang. You know, like
to the officiating too. I didn't feel like you guys were really getting the benefit of the doubt at all. I know Notre Dame, you guys have this reputation of being a bit whiny, and that is definitely something that I've learned having known you for the past few years. You are a whiny fan base, but I will give you credit. Some of those calls in that game were pretty egregious.
dude, the first down.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you could convince me that Riley Leonard did not get past the 48.
You're watching it in real time. You're like, oh, first down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for
And-
them to call it short on the field and then review it and double down was insane.
Dude,
That's like some Angel Hernandez shit. Like,
dude,
you-
it was
Yeah, you could tell somebody just made the call. Am I allowed to swear on this? What
Yeah,
did we
go ahead.
decide? I was gonna say you could tell somebody made the call like, "Fuck it, we're doubling down. We called this. We're going out there. We're just staying with it." Like some dude was decided like, "Yeah, we're rocking this." That was egregious for sure.
and it was like the first time too when Bo Collins made that catch.
Yeah.
Like transfer from Clemson. That was the first time probably in like since like Chase Claypool and Miles Boykin were there that you were like you saw a Notre Dame receiver just go and get the ball. And it was like the most refreshing thing to see. I was like, holy smokes, dude. Like
holy schmoly.
Look at this
Like,
guy
dude,
busting out
this
the
team-
holy smokes week
Dude,
1. He
like-
is stoked.
But dude, like you look down the road, like you got Louisville. Louisville's a good team. They're also in the running for the ACC that we haven't talked about them because they played some nobodies and took care of business. But we play them like week 5, and then Florida State was like another marquee game, but that they dropped. They're horrible
No longer.
at this
They-
point. You never
Team
know.
was an
Like
afterthought.
week 10, they might just come out there and play their Super Bowl, which is probably pretty likely because Notre Dame, and then USC at the end of the year. But like, because we were supposed to have Miami, Florida on the schedule this year, and they overbooked games, so they dropped us. So we have Army, Navy, like 4 MAC schools. Like, if they don't go 11-1 or 12-0, like it is an unsuccessful season. Considering that, like that was the game you had to win.
Mm.
They won for the first time in fucking forever.
Yeah, being Notre Dame, that they're gonna be under a microscope, so they can't drop one of those games. Like,
Yeah,
but also by the same token, they have some games too that if they can win, they can put together a really strong resume and, like we said, get into that like 5 seed.
yeah.
And that's the best they can do, right? Because they
Yeah.
can't win a conference.
They can't win a conference, so they don't play that conference title week. If we had the 5th seed, I would be elated. Like home playoff game in December, play some group of 5 opponent.
Yeah.
You know, you never know with Notre Dame though. That's the thing. It's like we're sitting here now and being like, oh, you play UNLV or Liberty. Like, would it shock me if I saw Notre Dame let me down? No.
You're waiting for the other 2 to drop there.
So
Yeah, last thing that I want to talk about, and we touched upon Connor Wegman before, he's not good. He kind of had like that Cade Klubnik syndrome where he just looked scared. But maybe he was right because every time he did try to make a play in that first half, he ended up with 2 picks. And you can say, oh, well, it was a tie game going into halftime. Those picks didn't really help that bad, or didn't hurt us that bad, but they do.
Mhm.
Whether the score is tied or you're up at that point, those are possessions, and you have no idea how those possessions could have turned out. And he put his team in not a great position to win the game. Did he finish the game under 50% completion? Because
Yeah.
I know late he was down there.
Is 12 to 30.
I actually got a Connor Wegman stat. So Jaguar Gator NFL or Jaguar Gator 9 NFL on Twitter said if we're going off of NFL passer rating stats, Connor Wegman, 12 of 30, 100 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, had a rating of 21.53, which is worse than if you did nothing but spike the ball into the ground on every single play.
Those
That's
are my
like an
favorite
Nathan
stats.
Peterman performance.
Yeah.
But like I said, like Notre Dame's defense, like I don't know if Wegman is the answer, but like I think he'll be better, when they're playing Florida or some other SEC schools.
A&M, to me, I just kind of alluded to Connor Wegman and Cade Klubnik, but they do remind me a lot of Clemson, where it's like they played a tough matchup to open the season. Yes, they were at home. Yes, it's not as
Electric.
good a
That
team.
place was buzzing.
Yeah, but I still think A&M is gonna be in a good position this year. I don't. They were kind of.
8-4.
They were on the fringe of that. Like, we don't know what they could be. They could be a playoff team. Watching that game, that's not a playoff team. It's not a playoff quarterback. That's not to say Mike Elko can't turn that program around over the next few years, but I think as far as this year goes, yeah, you're just trying to win like 8 games. If you can get that 9th good, maybe win a bowl game and just, kind of retool going into next season. But
Can we just jump to LSU? Because, it was kind of creeping on my mind talking about Notre Dame, because I just want to talk about Brian Kelly.
Big game,
go
Brian.
ahead.
0-5 in week 1 since 2020.
It's
How
bad.
much did they pay him to bring him in here?
20. He's making a lot of money. 96 was it? I think
You
so. I
haven't
think it's
won
96.
1 week, 1 game.
I
Yes,
feel like the
not
only
one.
thing we've gotten out of Brian Kelly being at LSU to this point is that like weird 360 cam of him with that recruit.
And when he started just him and his family.
Yeah.
And he did that press conference after the game. He's talking about how he's like so angry. Like, he's like, I got to be a better coach. Like, yeah, no shit. Like,
Yeah, everyone's been saying that about you since you got the job. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't. Go ahead.
no, you're
I was
not.
gonna say I did not buy that whole like anger freaking press conference crap. I'm like, dude, it's week 1. You can't be this desperate already that you're gonna pull this out of the toolkit here.
Yeah, I got to look pissed off so people
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
care about my job. But
Let me slam my fist on the table just to try and like make them like, dude, come on, nobody's gonna.
And then
buy
just
it. Your players aren't
classic-
gonna.
Classic BK, just throw the players under the bus.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get these guys ready, and then they don't perform. Like,
Right.
dude,
But then hedge
literally-
your bet and be like, oh, I have to be better. I have to be
Yeah.
better. Like, dude, you're all over the place.
Yeah,
look at every Notre Dame game that when he coached. Like, dude, we were leading against Georgia 2019 at Georgia going into the 4th quarter and lost.
Yeah.
It's like he's just not a closer.
You
He's-
can't take accountability and in the same breath blame your players.
Right.
Yeah, he is a good coach, but he's not an elite coach. So thank God for Marcus Freeman.
Jury's out on Freeman, by the way. I'm not crowning him anything yet. That was a big win, but
Dude, he just got the juice, dude.
what else from that game? Miller Moss.
He stuck it out. I
He
commend
played
him.
well.
I commend him. Like, he stuck it out. Like, he's a graduate now. He's been at USC for 5 years waiting to start.
Yeah.
Finally gets to start. They win.
Played
Just
well.
keep winning USC because we got a big matchup at the end of the year. Needs to look good.
Jack, do you have something there?
Yeah, I was just gonna say big shoes to fill, especially from what's come like stepping in for Caleb Williams. But like as long as like he doesn't have to play to his level, if he just plays solid, they should be in the playoffs.
No.
Yeah,
The Big Ten is tough.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to make a name for themselves in the Big Ten there.
I think they pull off an upset or two when they get in.
Crazier things have happened,
Right.
but
Did you guys see USC's like intro / pregame hype video that was like trending on X during the game? Did you guys see
No.
that? Oh, it's so
Yeah.
sick. It is
I
like
saw-
by
I
far
saw,
one of the
like-
coolest like intro videos I've seen for a college football team. Highly
that's what we're
recommend.
doing now. Though we're going to refer to it as X.
Okay, Twitter, X, whatever. I'm trying to be politically correct.
Look,
you know what I
whatever
mean?
you want to say, fine. But
I've had to retrain my brain now, but anyways, Twitter, X, yeah, go look at that. That shit is so dope. I don't know who put that together, what interns they have cooking that up at USC, but it was like fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
So you guys don't think that Miller Moss and USC can knock off Penn State and Michigan, especially with Michigan starting a former walk-on QB?
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, probably going into
Maybe.
the season, I
Maybe.
didn't think that, but I also didn't think that USC would take this game week 1, which maybe was just oversight on my part for considering Brian Kelly's history. But
I don't know. My thing too is like both of those defenses were so bad last year where it's like, were they kind of improved or are the defenses still bad? Like it's kind of like it's still like kind of like to be seen in my eyes. So I mean, I would if USC, like I said, if USC could keep winning and then get to that Week 12 game and then lose to Notre Dame,
that's
That'd
your
be
best
great.
case scenario.
that'd be
Yeah.
great. Yeah, considering Florida State now is not a marquee game.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? It's time. Let's just
Is
get
it?
into Florida State.
Sean Mahoney, FSU.
Show me who FSU. I mean, I'm looking at the box score right now. They had 21 rushing yards as a team. It's
That's not gonna get done.
not going to get it done, and especially when you have a quarterback as inept as DJU. I don't even want to try and say his last name because I thought it was Uiagalelei, and now I hear them on the broadcast. It's Uigale or something. I don't know. I don't care. He should be starting. He shouldn't be a college quarterback. When he took the reins at Clemson from Trevor Lawrence, it was obviously you're coming off of back-to-back generational college quarterback talents. You had Deshaun Watson there. Then you had Trevor Lawrence come in. And then DJU comes in, and at the time they're making it sound like it's a seamless transition. They have another generational talent at quarterback coming in, and Clemson's going to be Clemson. He stinks it up there. He's not good. He goes to Oregon State. He puts up some inflated numbers last year in the Pac-12, which is notorious for just offense, points. And now he goes to Florida State, who, whatever, they went out sad last year. Jordan Travis goes down. They don't make the playoff. They kind of pout and whine, leading up to the Georgia game. Their players don't play. They get mollywopped to run off the field. And then the whole offseason is just complain, whine more about how we didn't make the college football playoff. And then you expect them to come out this year and make a statement, at least to start the year, like, hey, we're not going away. We still feel like we got slighted last year, even though it was probably the right decision to keep them out. And then you have DJ come in and transfer, and he does the same thing he's done for his entire college career, and that's underwhelm and not be a good player. And he's just a name that you see, and you're like, oh, I remember them talking about this guy like he was good. He's not. But 21 for 42 today. Doesn't look comfortable throwing the ball downfield. They had like one or two drives where he looked good and looked like he could be a good enough quarterback to take this team to the top of the ACC and potentially in the playoff, but he sucks. He's not the only issue with that team, but he's a big one. When you don't have a quarterback that you can trust, that makes things a lot harder. And Mike Norvell does not trust him, clearly.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, not to put it all on DJ, but like he's could not make some passes, underthrew the ball a lot, like tonight. But at the same time, like I don't think he trusts his receivers. Like they were dropping balls left and right too, like wide open. And granted, like the fact that he can't literally just loft a ball up to the back corner of the end zone when nobody's in 10 yards of him, like one of us could have gone out there and done that, just like thrown it up and prayed.
He had that sequence at the goal line was so ridiculous. Like, yeah, the one pass was batted when he had the receiver wide open in the end zone, but he also should have seen that way earlier. He was stargazing naked for probably 3 to 4 seconds before he attempted to throw the ball to him, and then a play or two later sails the ball out of the end zone to another wide open target.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's a 20-yard punt and you can't even move like inside
You
the
can't
5.
score. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And it's like any drive with him, it's just one step forward, 2 steps back. Because on that drive, you start the ball at the 30, you get down inside the 10, and then immediately take a sack.
Where do you guys think DJ is today if he doesn't in 2020 go 29 for 44 for 439 and 2 touchdowns? Do you think these coaches are just like we can bring that back out of them?
I do
Oh,
think
I'm
that.
sure, yeah. I'm sure. I mean, they were referring to that on like the first broadcast against Georgia Tech, like before he even took a snap. They were like, "Oh yeah," they were already making excuses.
They're like,
"Oh,
remember
yeah."
that time?
Yeah, exactly. They were
yeah, but
already
like
pulling
if you
the
look
tape.
at Florida State's depth chart, their backup QB's a redshirt freshman, and then the third string's a true freshman. So I mean, like they're probably like, let's go grab him because we're not starting a redshirt freshman.
Well, because they forced Tate Rodemaker out of town.
Yeah.
Like,
So I mean, that's
to
their
bring
fault.
him in.
That's their fault.
It's a bad situation, but at one point, you just have to look at how stagnant your offense is against not quality opponents and be like, we just have to try something. Like this redshirt freshman, this true freshman, they're probably not much better, but we just have to switch something up.
I think
From
they
a coaching
tried that on the
perspective.
first play with the flea flicker, like the flea flicker reverse,
Yeah,
and that they like didn't do anything.
yeah. And it's,
I agree.
kind of back to Ara's point, it's like you see the tools there and you see the potential, and it's kind of, you're seeing microcosms of it within each game. I mean, last week against Georgia Tech, he had that drive where he converted 2 fourth downs. He made some big time throws. They go down, they score. And then you don't see that for the rest of the game. And then the same thing with this game. You see that drive at the end of the second half where he throws for 78 yards, completes, I think, all but one of his passes on that drive. And then he goes stagnant and then has another drive late in the game to cut the deficit. And then he's gone again. Like it's infuriating to watch. And I'm, not going to sit here like I'm the biggest Florida State fan. I just kind of picked them as a team last year that I wanted to root for. But even when he came into the transfer portal, I was like, I want to root for this team. Like, this guy stinks.
Yeah.
And you
that
were
first
right.
Touchdown was like the receiver making the play, not him.
Yeah, that was a great catch and run. And to the drop point and his receivers not being able to catch balls, it almost feels like when there's a well-placed ball in their hands, they don't know what to do with it because they're not expecting it.
They're like, holy shit.
Yeah,
And I
it's
used
like,
to have
wow.
to picking it up off the shoes and like making something out of it. The thing is too, like he looks like a quarterback. Like when you look at him and you watch the arm angles and like the arm talent and the ability to like throw off center, you look at that and you're like, oh, he looks like a real live quarterback. But then you watch him play and you're just like, he looks completely overwhelmed.
There's no confidence.
No confidence. You can tell his like decision making is lagging like 2 seconds behind like his instincts. And so he's getting caught in these weird situations where he doesn't know what to do with the football. Like that interception he throws. He has all the time to either get outside the pocket. He squares his chest to the oncoming rush and just like kind of sidearm slings the football. And it looks hideous. You're like, what are you doing? That's the part that would drive me crazy if I was Norvell. I'd be like, dude, you have all the talent. You're just I don't understand where your head's at any point in this game.
He was the number 2 recruit. It was between I think Trevor Lawrence and CJ Stroud or somebody. No, it wasn't Trevor Lawrence. He was
Number one
after.
over CJ Stroud.
No, I don't think that rankings. I don't think so.
Yeah, but he's 6'4",
but
250. Like he's an NFL sized quarterback.
Yeah.
He's going to be an NFL sized tight end in about 6 months.
He's going to be a CFL bench warmer.
Yeah. Practice squad. They'll be bagging groceries in the off season.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kurt
He has a
Warner's
lot of
third
problems, and
without the football.
he's top of the list.
Yes.
All right, I'm just gonna run through kind of the rest of these games on the slate, unless you guys have anything you want to add there. I know I kind of went on a monologue, but
No, I like Sean Mahoney FSU.
okay, Penn State, West Virginia. That kind of looked like a trap game. Penn State just went in there, took care of business. They look like legit. Drew Allar
Dude.
looks good.
Deuce McBride paid some kids tuition.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty sick.
McAfee was catching like a lot of shit for his college football show and that. Like, obviously he's gonna be partial to West Virginia. What do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, as I go down the list, if you guys have anything you want to say about these games, just jut in. Illinois State, Iowa. I don't know if I've ever seen a 40 next to Iowa. Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech. We kind of touched upon this one. That was fun. I was nothing against Virginia Tech. I just thought it was fun to see Vanderbilt go in there as double-digit dogs and pull it out.
I forgot how to say Vandy's quarterback's last name, but guy's a dog. Guy's a legit.
Diego Pavia.
Yeah, Pavia, Diego
Yeah.
Pavia. Yeah, he can move. He can run.
Yeah, he's a solid player. UConn, Maryland. Terps
Oh,
take care
roll
of business.
Terps, baby.
Terps.
Enough said.
They play Michigan State next week, dude. It'll be a battle of mid.
Dude, Maryland's been into a bowl game the past few years.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's like a million freaking bowl games.
All right,
Hey,
dude. People,
Billy
college,
Edwards Jr.
I'm new to this college football
Heisman.
scene, but there appears to be a lot of stock in a bowl game, regardless of the game. So
There
fight
is
your
until you make the bowl game and you're like, oh wow, they play the day after Christmas at the Little Caesars Bowl
That's gotta be the worst.
at 11 a.m.
Aren't there bowl games after the Natty?
No,
No,
Natty's always
okay.
the last game.
That for whatever reason, I felt like I thought I watched a game last year after the Natty. I was like, it's got to be the most like disgraceful place to be if you played after the season was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll Terps. Louisville 62-0 over Austin P. Like, I mean, I don't know. I've seen a lot of Louisville fans who are mad that people aren't talking about it. It's like you took care of business. When you do what you're supposed to do, you don't really get talked about.
Yeah. Like, it's like no one's talking about Ole Miss and Furman. Like, wow, you put 70 up on Furman.
I think the only talking point with that game is Ole Miss probably could have scored 120 points if they wanted to.
Yeah. But Lane Kiffin also is just an asshole, so he would be the guy to put up 70.
And Jackson Dart has all the makings of a good college quarterback, like talent-wise, and also like you look at him and he looks like he could play the varsity quarterback in Friday Night Lights. Purdue 49, Indiana State, nothing, whatever. Pitt beats up on Kent State. Navy beats Bucknell. Tennessee 69, Chattanooga. 3.
Nico
Yeah.
is the real deal, dude.
Dog. What, 319 yards in passing in the first half or something like that?
Yeah, he's a dog.
Are we is Josh Heupel going to fall under the quarterback whisperer category? Is he already there?
No, Nico was like the best guy though. Like Nico was like a number one recruit.
Yeah, but he had a top tier offense with Hendon Hooker. He made Joe Milrow look good at times.
Joe who? Milrow or Milton?
Milton. Sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies. I got Bama on my mind, I guess. Oklahoma State, South Dakota State. That was like one of those. I mean, that was what Colorado thinks they did.
Yeah. Dude,
Can we-
Colorado just gets me, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Because North Dakota and South Dakota State, they're both like 1 and 2 in FCS.
They
most
just
of the year.
share. They volley back and forth, taking over the FCS every year. Yeah.
Can we talk about South Carolina almost losing to Old Dominion?
Yeah,
Just
we'll
for-
get there.
Like, all I just want to say is like I know you lost Xavier Legette, but like, does that mean like Spencer Rattler was much better at South Carolina than we thought? Because like people have also said he's been impressing in the preseason, and granted it's preseason, but if Derek Carr struggles this year,
Yeah.
Which he's
might
going
want
to
to throw him
do.
in there.
Yeah, which he will once he, throws like 15 passes behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he's not a great player.
Dude, I will say though, for one of the worst performances I've seen all weekend, did you guys anyone watch UCF on Thursday?
No.
No,
Oh my dude, KJ Jefferson missed so many passes.
I did hear that. I heard he looked abysmal.
So like I the only reason I saw that was because I was looking at like a TikTok meme I saved earlier. It's like the guys in Moneyball like sitting there like looking at like the scouting board. It's like, really, this is KJ Jefferson. He's an athletic freak and massive. The only problem is he sucks. It's like
You could say that about DJ.
literally.
It was funny. I think I was watching Barstool was doing like college football live stream, and Big T was watching Klubnik against Georgia. He was like, if he could read the field, be a better thrower of the ball, and something else, he'd be a good quarterback. It's like, yeah,
If he had all the intangibles.
yeah. If he was a better quarterback, he'd be a better quarterback. Let's see, what else do we even want to talk about?
Do we
Ohio
wanna-
State takes care of Akron. People kind of, I think it's overblown how Ohio State kind of had a slow start. I don't really think it matters.
No.
They did,
Michigan and Fresno State kind of were playing a game for 3 quarters.
yeah, I mean, for all the hype about Donovan Edwards, for him to have 27 rushing yards is a bit alarming against Fresno State.
Yeah. Will Johnson, still great corner, but I don't know. Like, I feel like not having a plan B for so long is like, it's kind of alarming because like everyone was like, Orgy is going to be the guy. And then you watch the spring game and you're like, Orgy is not good at throwing the football.
Yeah.
And then just like out of nowhere, like this week on Twitter, everyone just starts talking about how I don't even know the dude's name, is now the starting quarterback at Michigan, and he was a walk-on.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, let's see. Let's get through these. Texas takes care of business, fine. Indiana, cool. Nebraska, Dylan Raiola looks the part.
they're going to whoop up on Colorado next week.
Yeah, I know he's like the Mahomes wannabe, but if there's a guy you want to emulate, that's who it is. How many quarterbacks want to be Tom Brady for the longest time, you know? So I don't really have anything against him doing that. I mean, I guess if he gets weird with it, because
Like a Jason Tatum type thing.
yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
exactly.
It's not NBA season yet.
Thank God.
Yeah, this was the worst NBA season of all time. But what else? Is there anything on here that's jumping out to me? Jack already kind of touched on South Carolina. Bama does their thing. Ole Miss does their thing. Kansas State, that they're going to be a hell of a team in the Big 12 this year.
And Kansas.
Yeah, and Kansas as well. Yep.
That just reminded me. What do you guys think about Kyle McCord in Syracuse? Like, dark horse?
I'm going Saturday to the game, so I'll let you know. I'll let you know what my eyes tell me.
The eye test, yeah.
Got to see him in person.
Yeah.
Well, I will. I'll see him in person. I'll report back next week what I think about Syracuse football.
Yeah, full
Uh,
scouting report, full breakdown.
All 22.
Oregon, we didn't really talk about. I didn't really get to watch much of that game. I was more so focused on Notre Dame A&M, but just looking at the score, I mean, it's only a 10-point win on Idaho.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel, I think, is very different from a Bo Nix. As much as we shit on Bo Nix because he was like 40 playing college football. I mean, like, look at Cam Rising. Cam Rising is like 30, but he's a dog. This is like year 7 for Cam Rising. But like, I don't know. Oregon is so explosive, and like, well, they were 49-point favorites or 48-point favorites. I took them, and for them to lay like an egg like that against Idaho, that kind of set off the like. I'm not gonna put them on like fraud watch because I think Dan Lanning is a fantastic college football coach, but
It's also, you don't want to
Really?
overreact too much from week 1, but
yeah, but it was alarming for sure. Like, it's like, is Dylan Gabriel the guy?
from all accounts of what I've heard is like he still looked the part and he still looked like the Heisman favorite that he is. It's just looking at that score, I'm like, they only won by 10
Yeah,
and they only put up 24 points
yeah,
with the Heisman favorite quarterback. So
and the explosiveness everywhere because they have unlimited NIL money.
yep. Yeah, when they Phil Knight funding, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. What other notes do I have here? We kind of talked about Michigan, right? Is there anything else you want to add to that?
no, other than the fact that the NCAA eventually will be bringing the hammer.
They're going to be under a microscope for a few years. Like, this isn't something that a Connor Stallions documentary is going to wipe the slate clean. Like, we're probably 5 years from now still going to be talking about the ripple effects of this scandal, I think.
Yeah. Like I said, there was they found 5 level 1 recruiting or not recruiting, just 5 level 1 violations.
That's the thing too, is Michigan fans are like, oh, it's water under the bridge, it's done. It's like, no, there's still stuff coming out like pretty frequently.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's crazy
I
to me
don't know
that
how
like
much
we've
more they
gotten to
can-
this point. Well, I mean, they could always vacate whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like you already saw it happen with your own 2 eyes.
You watch
there's
them
not a
hoist
big
We're
an
like,
national
if
championship.
it gets taken away, am I gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about? Yes.
Yeah.
From the Michigan natty, but like it happened.
But it's like
But-
Reggie Bush like taking away his Heisman. It's like, okay, well, we still know he was the Heisman that year. Like,
Yeah.
Or like Rick Pitino in Louisville. Like,
yeah.
Right.
No. The only thing that I would forget would be if the Michigan Natties and the Big Ten title.
Because that's what we want to forget that.
Yeah, me too. I very much so.
Okay, last few notes that I have here for this past week in college football. Ashton Genty had 6 touchdowns, ran for a zillion yards. That was cool. I didn't write his name down for some reason, but the Arizona receiver.
it's I'm gonna
McMillan or
botch the
something
first
like
name.
that.
It's Petaroa McMillan. And I just want to know, what do you think is more impressive? Genty had 20 carries for 267 yards and 6 touchdowns, while McMillan had 10 catches for 304 yards, 4 touchdowns, and was like a yard away from having a 5th. Which one do you think is more impressive?
Being a receiver and doing it.
Agreed.
You think?
Yeah.
You don't think the 2 touchdowns like kind of,
I mean, 300 yards receiving is
Yeah.
insane.
It's ridiculous.
but only on 20 carries, 267, 6? I mean, yeah, no, I still think it is, but like I still think there's an argument to be made.
That was a fun game too, because it was like tied at 24 at half, and then Arizona finishes with 61.
Yeah, it wasn't like a blowout at the beginning. Like they needed all of McMillan's production to win that game.
Yeah. I have him down. I have, once again, didn't write down the name. I don't know why, but the 17-year-old for Alabama, the true freshman receiver. That's
Yeah,
really
didn't he
impressive.
drop his first pass and then 2 touchdowns?
Yeah. Yep. And then also the freshman receiver for OSU. I wrote down, or
Jeremiah Smith,
yeah,
gonna be a dog, dude.
yeah.
So good.
All right. Well, I don't have anything more on college football. I know we talked like we want to get to some NFL stuff, or do we want to like try and save that and try and get another pod out before Thursday just because it's late? I know Owen just got off of a flight. So, I mean, whatever you guys want to do. If you guys just want to touch upon it, if you want to, whatever you want to do right now.
I don't know. Do you think we're gonna have time to get another one in? Like, what do you?
I can do Wednesday. You guys are around Wednesday.
I can
Post-
do Wednesday.
Post
I
your
could-
work.
I could do Wednesday.
It's gonna have to be like 11 for me.
I can do it. It's up to you guys.
I mean, it's not much different from tonight. So,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
probably make it a little quicker though for the NFL.
Yeah,
one,
for
because
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
there was
it's
just
pretty
a lot of volume to talk to. We went in depth on like,
6-7 games.
yeah.
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 So the NFL, and there's also games haven't happened yet there, so we can kind of just get into predictions and
think.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gambling action.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do some gambling stuff if you want to. I actually haven't bet since March Madness.
That sucks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money to be made this weekend, and I made a lot of it.
Yeah, but I don't make money on it. Like I just lose, honestly.
I lost last weekend, and then this weekend I had a nice comeback. So
I
What do
just
you guys,
donate
think
to these
about-
fucking huge corporations.
What do you guys think about like for like if we're doing picks, like we each pick something and then we just like it's like our parlay, like a 4-leg parlay, we each have 1 leg that we pick.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, it'd be
Or
nice
could
if
just
we had like a sponsor
everyone
for that,
picks
but
4 lines, and then we all track them. Well, like I'll put it in like a spreadsheet or something, and then we'll be like,
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
I think that's a good idea.
And then all-time record. Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about that too, kind of behind the scenes or something. But
Yeah.
but
yeah, okay. So then I say we save the NFL stuff. I think we're all pretty mopped right now, to be honest.
yeah, I gotta go to work. I gotta go to sleep.
How was everybody's Labor Day weekend?
It's good. Wish it didn't
Yeah.
end.
All right.
Yeah, so great. I went bowling.
Oh, there you go.
You went bowling? Would you shoot?
85.
Were you like?
That's crazy.
I haven't been bowling since like elementary school.
Damn, dude.
You guys
Put
have
the
heard about the
bumpers up
guy
at
who
that
bowled
point,
it?
bro.
The guy who bowled at 300 on 9/11.
So are we gonna call this episode 2 losses, 1 cup?
2 losses.
Maybe. I'll probably.
DJ's corner.
What's that?
DJ's corner.
Dude, I don't. We might just have to start referring to him as like how they do in Harry Potter with Voldemort. Like I don't want to say
Boogeyman.
his name. I don't want to. Yeah. Oh, and this is our first pod since your Celtics title.
I know. I wanted to. I didn't want to make a scene today because I wanted to, be a warm and welcoming figure. But
I'll give you 45 seconds to say whatever you want.
No, I'll save it for the NBA season because I'm gonna come with a whole chamber load of ammunition when we get back to that subject. But
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
gonna remove you from the.
no, that's fine. But
Oh.
if you just want to slip in like a few champs here and there, like when you refer to me, like, hey champ, like what do you think about this or that? Like that'd be cool. I think I've earned that right.
You like,
I'll
"What's up,
call
Deuce?"
you champ, but in like in the sense that like
Like
I'm
the
a
meaning
I'm
sense.
a father figure to you, and I walk by and I pat you on the back at the barbecue and I say, "What's up, champ?"
Well, listen, I can't choose how you're gonna use a word, but just hearing the word referred to me is a win for me.
Should we just start calling Owen Deuce?
Listen,
Yeah,
Hey, what did your NBA champion Jason Tatum do in the Olympics?
I mean, he sat the same amount of games or DMPs the same amount of games as Joel Embiid. so
incorrect.
I don't know. Or what was it? 1 and 2?
He didn't play in the gold medal game.
Okay, so he DMP'd 1 extra game. I mean, whatever.
You just
bro.
gotta be like, dude. You gotta be like, Jason Tatum was born in the United States.
Yeah,
Just
you
leave
know
it.
what I mean?
Or
Like,
did he play in the gold medal game and didn't play the game
dude's-
before? I was wondering.
yeah, no, he didn't play against Serbia. He did play in the gold medal game.
Yeah, when Joel Embiid had a 7-0 run to really
you talking about
bolster
Serbia?
Team USA in that game, right? Yeah, I do remember
Yeah,
that. That was
yeah.
a good game. That was a fun game to watch.
Listen, I'm not. Listen, good for Joel, bro. I mean, he won for a foreign country. Like that takes some balls for sure.
So you're calling the United States a foreign country?
to him, to
I
his
think
native, to his
That is
native,
incredibly
a
unpatriotic
Citizen
of you.
of this country.
to his native place of birth.
He's a
Tommy
citizen.
Owen.
Listen, listen. All I'm gonna say is champ. That's all I want. Like I just want my respect in that regard, and then I'll save. I got bullets in the chamber that we can pull out when we have much more time to go over it. Because I got free smoke for everybody. I got notes for everybody.
Even the
Okay,
Detroit
champ.
Pistons?
Thank you.
You're welcome. See, that was a great use of it, Jack.
All right,
All
I'll
right.
talk to you boys later.
All right.
All
See
right.
you, fellas.
That is the
See ya.
Lodge Pod. Thanks for tuning in. And
Thank you.